Hello, I just wanted to show you, because plenty of people have asked, how you go about making an extended stairway card using the stairway dies from Crafters Companion, which under ordinary circumstances makes a 5-step, but this one is a 10. So I'm not going to show you how to make the whole card, just the main bits, so that you get the idea and can then have some fun yourself. Right. So you start with an A4 piece of card. Normally when you're making the 5 stair, you would start with half a sheet of A4. So we're going to leave it as a full sheet of A4. And what you want to do is take all of your pieces and start as though you were making a 5 stair at the bottom of the card. So we're going to place all of these on so that we get our positioning just right. Okay. So make sure it meets at the bottom. I really hope you can see this because I'm not doing it again. Okay, so we've got all of our dies in place. All right, so we carefully take them out of the way and tape down the worker die so that it stays in place. Okay. And then take your plates. I'm using a Gemini here. So you take your plates, take out your magnetic shim because you don't need it, it'll cut too much. All right. And run the die through the machine like you were making the standard A6 card. Talk amongst yourselves whilst this is doing. Right, now this is where the magic happens. So if you pull your die away, leave the tape in place, all right, you can see you've got the first 5 steps. Now what we're going to do to make it go all the way up the card is overlap these top 2 steps. And what you want to do, and this is why I did it as a video rather than just write it down, is you want to wiggle the die about until it actually sits in these little grooves that you've created. And once it's in those grooves, you can feel it, it's not moving around. So once it's in there, press down on your tape to tape it back into place and run it back through your machine. Excuse the state of my plates, they're a mess. Okay, so we're not quite all the way up the card yet. So what we do is we just lift it off again, like I said, keep the tape in place on the worker die so that you can just press down on it. And then we're going to do the same thing again, we're going to overlap the top 2. And as you can see, because I made sure that it was in the right place, it's not done a double cut. So it's just kept those nice clean lines. So it is really important to make sure you wiggle it and get it into place, because if you don't, you'll end up with more than one crease line and you don't want that. Okay, last time through the machine, and this should give us our stairway right to the top of the card. Sorry that you're having to sit and watch the map. I'm not very good with my fingers. And I'm sorry if I've just wobbled the camera. Okay, so this now you can see there's a little tiny bit there at the top where it's you know, not quite as long as the card. So all we're going to do with that is just trim the end just down that little bit so that that gets rid of that sliver at the top. Okay. So now you've got your stairs, and because you've got 10 of them as opposed to 5, it's a little bit more of a wiggle to get them to work. Okay, but it does. You just need to take your time over it. I say take your time over it. Yeah. And I'm really sorry you're going to have to sit and watch this, but it is quite important that you see. So one hand behind, one in front, and you just sort of like tease the paper card even into the right shape. It's the same as if you're doing the 5-step, only just bigger at this point. The difficult bit's now been done. That's the getting the stairs to go up all the way across the card. Okay, getting there. Look. And then we just want to sharpen the creases. And there you have your stairs. Right, to fit those into a card base, what you want to do is get a scoring board. I'm using my massive big score for this, okay, and down the left hand side, using the box lid, you want to score at 1.5 centimetres. All right, this 1.5 centimetres is going to give you a glue flap to glue this bit into your card. Okay. And then just score that, crease that. Okay. So that's that. If you're using your cut-ins, then what you want to do, flatten it back out, is place them, making sure you have your hearts the right way up if you're using the heart one, okay, and then you would place all of these on your card like that, tape them down, run them through the machine, and you'll need to run it through the machine several times because you've actually given the machine an awful lot of work to do. You might even need to use your metal shim. I know I did when I did the gold card. So yeah, once you've run it through the machine lots and lots of times, you'll have this effect all the way across. All right, so having done all of that, you then want to put it into a card. So the size of card you're going to need, if you start with an A3 sheet of card and your big score, you want to score at 17 centimetres. Now the way I worked out the 17 centimetres, and I will show you because it will make sense, is when you do the A6 card, if you use an A4 sheet, you use the bottom half will make your card and the top half will make the outer. Now the outer is a standard A6, okay. If you lay this over it, the centre crease lies in line with this one here. All right, so if we use the same principle on this, if I turn it upside down you'll be able to see it. She says this lines up with the 17 centimetre mark on your board. All right, if you've done yours slightly differently, you might need to score it in a slightly different place, but hopefully it will work in exactly the same way for you. All right, so we score at 17 centimetres on an A3 sheet and fold that in half. Well, fold it down the crease line. All right, and this excess bit here, just trim off. So now you've just trimmed that bit off, what you've got is the perfect size outer wrap for the A4 steps. Okay, and when you go to glue it, what you want to do is make sure that you pull this across flat, glue down this flap, and then close the card onto it. Okay, so that will then, when you open it up, it pulls out. If I show you on the one that I made, as you open it up, it's not sat right at the back of the card. Sorry, this wasn't as well a made card as I was hoping. Another top tip for you, if you're going to use the 3D embossing folders, don't cut the card to fit before you score them, or before you emboss them, because it does pull the card slightly smaller. So make it bigger, and then, because you can see at the top and bottom here, I've got little bits of the card showing. Other words are available. This is a 9-letter word, so if you can find a 10-letter word, I spent ages. And then I just cut that out using the dies for the diamond press. Have fun.